There is a discipline system forged in ancient China that was never meant to motivate you. It was designed to strip weakness from the inside out. It does not rely on emotion. It does not depend on confidence. And it does not ask how you feel today. This system was built for one purpose only: to create unshakable inner power. Power that does not rise with praise. Power that does not collapse under pressure. Power that remains calm while everything else breaks. Most people believe discipline is about forcing yourself to act. Ancient Chinese masters understood something far more dangerous. True discipline is not force. It is alignment. When your body, breath, attention, and intention move as one, resistance disappears. There is no inner argument, no hesitation, no retreat. In the West, we chase intensity. In the East, they build structure, because intensity fades, but structure endures. This is why soldiers, scholars, healers, and rulers all trained under the same system, not to become aggressive, but to become immovable. This video is not about productivity. It is not about success. And it is not about feeling powerful. It is about becoming so internally ordered that fear loses its voice, distraction loses its grip, and pressure no longer bends you. By the end of this video, you will understand why ancient Chinese discipline did not create loud men. It created silent forces. And why, if applied correctly, this system can make you impossible to shake, without aggression, without burnout, and without pretending to be strong. But before we begin, understand this. This system does not reward comfort. It does not flatter the ego. And it does not work if you are searching for shortcuts. It works only if you are willing to be rebuilt. Now, let us begin. Chapter 1. The Illusion of Strength. Most people believe strength is loud. They imagine power as intensity, as dominance, as force applied outward. Ancient China rejected this idea entirely. To them, loud strength was a sign of instability. Excess movement revealed excess weakness. And anyone who needed to prove power did not possess it. The Chinese discipline system that created unshakable inner power began with a brutal realization. If your mind reacts, you are already defeated. Before weapons, before techniques, before philosophy, the first battlefield was always internal. This is why the earliest Chinese discipline texts barely mention victory over others. They obsess over victory over reaction, because reaction exposes dependency. Dependency exposes weakness, and weakness, once exposed, invites chaos. Look closely at modern life. People react to messages, react to insults, react to pressure, react to fear, react to opportunity. They believe this responsiveness makes them adaptable. In reality, it makes them controllable. Ancient Chinese masters observed something uncomfortable. The person who reacts fastest is usually the one with the least control. True power, they said, moves last. This is why the Chinese system did not begin with action. It began with stillness. Stillness was not rest. It was training. Stillness revealed what could not hide in motion. When you remove distraction, what remains rises to the surface. Restlessness, fear, impulse, urgency. Most people avoid stillness because it exposes them. The Chinese system forced it. Students were not taught how to fight. They were taught how to sit, not casually, not comfortably, but deliberately. Posture aligned, breath regulated, eyes open, attention unbroken. At first, nothing dramatic happened. Then the discomfort arrived, the urge to move, the itch to escape, the mind searching for stimulation. This was the test, not a test of endurance, a test of obedience. Could the body remain still when the mind panicked? Could the breath remain slow when the ego demanded movement? Could attention remain present without chasing relief? If the answer was no, nothing else mattered. Because a person who cannot control stillness cannot control force. This is where modern discipline fails. Modern systems begin by demanding output. Do more. Push harder. act faster. Ancient Chinese discipline did the opposite. It removed action until control emerged. Why? Because uncontrolled action multiplies weakness. Controlled inaction concentrates power. The Chinese believed energy leaks through unnecessary movement, through wasted thought, through emotional reaction. Inner power was not created. It was sealed. Imagine a container with cracks. No matter how much you pour in, it never fills. Most people try to add motivation, confidence, ambition, but they never fix the leaks. The Chinese system fixed the leaks first. The first leak was impulse. Impulse feels like intuition to the untrained mind. But to the disciplined, impulse is just unexamined fear. Fear of missing out. Fear of appearing weak. Fear of falling behind. Fear of silence. Ancient Chinese texts warned, "He who moves before clarity moves from fear." So clarity was trained before movement. Students learned to delay response, not suppress it, observe it. The moment a stimulus appeared, they were taught not to act, not immediately, to feel the internal surge without obeying it. This rewired something fundamental. Over time, the distance between stimulus and response widened. In that space, choice was born. And where there is choice, there is power. This is why the system worked. Not because it made people aggressive, but because it made them unreactive. Unreactive does not mean passive. It means precise. A calm lake reflects clearly. A disturbed one distorts everything. The Chinese believed the mind was no different. If your inner state is disturbed, your perception lies to you. You mistake urgency for importance, emotion for truth, speed for effectiveness. So chapter 1 of this discipline was simple, but unforgiving. Control your internal state before attempting to control your life. No shortcuts, no affirmations, no external validation, just repetition, stillness, breath, observation, day after day. At first, nothing changes externally. This is where most people quit. They think discipline should feel empowering immediately. The Chinese understood that true power feels boring at first, because boredom is the ego starving. The ego feeds on novelty, drama, reaction. Remove those and it weakens. As the ego weakens, something else strengthens. Awareness. Awareness sees impulses rise and fall without acting on them. Awareness watches fear without running from it. Awareness allows discomfort without negotiating with it. This is the foundation of unshakable inner power. Not dominance, not aggression, but internal order. A person with internal order cannot be rushed, cannot be provoked, cannot be manipulated through emotion. They move when movement is required. They wait when waiting is superior. They speak when words add value. They remain silent when silence carries weight. This is why Chinese discipline masters were often underestimated. They did not advertise strength. They embodied it. An embodiment does not announce itself. Chapter 1 ends here, not because mastery begins, but because illusion ends. If you believe strength comes from intensity, this system will feel slow. If you believe discipline is about force, this system will feel uncomfortable. But if you are willing to confront the truth, that your reactions are your chains, and your impulses are your prison, then you are ready for the next step. Because once stillness is mastered, movement becomes inevitable. And in the next chapter, you will learn how the Chinese system transformed stillness into structure, and structure into power that does not break under pressure. Chapter 2, The Cage of Desire. Once stillness is introduced, something uncomfortable happens. Desire becomes louder. When the body stops moving and the mind is no longer distracted, wants surface. Not noble wants, not meaningful goals, cravings, urges, compulsions disguised as needs. Ancient Chinese masters were clear about this. Desire is not your enemy. Unexamined desire is. Most people believe desire gives life direction. The Chinese saw it differently. They saw desire as a current. If you don't learn to stand against it, it carries you wherever it wants. And currents do not care where you end up. This is why the second phase of Chinese discipline focused not on ambition, but on containment. Containment was misunderstood by outsiders as repression. It was nothing of the sort. Repression hides desire. Containment exposes it without obeying it. Students were taught to sit again, still, silent. But now, with a new task, to watch desire arise. The urge to move. The urge to quit. The urge to seek pleasure. The urge to escape discomfort. Each desire had a texture, a rhythm, a predictable pattern. And the masters asked a simple, ruthless question. If desire were truly you, why does it come and go? This single observation shattered illusions. If something appears and disappears, it cannot be identity. It can only be condition. Desire was revealed as a visitor, not a ruler. But most people never see this. They identify with desire so completely that when desire speaks, they move. Hungry, eat. Restless, scroll. Bored, escape. Uncomfortable, quit. The Chinese discipline system broke this reflex. Not by denial, by delay. Delay was power. Students were trained to pause before satisfying any desire. Not indefinitely, just long enough to feel the urge weaken. And it always did. This taught a dangerous truth. Desire has no stamina. It feels urgent because you obey it quickly. Starve it of obedience and it collapses. This was terrifying for most students. Because when desire weakens, something else surfaces. Emptiness. And emptiness feels like death to the untrained mind. Modern people avoid emptiness at all costs. Noise fills every gap. Consumption numbs every silence. The Chinese system forced students to sit inside emptiness. Not to escape it. Not to decorate it. To endure it. Why? Because emptiness is not absence. It is capacity. A cup must be empty to be filled. A mind must be quiet to be directed. But before capacity is felt, withdrawal hits. Restlessness, irritation, anger without an object. This was the breaking point. Many students quit here. They believed discipline should feel empowering, not draining. They mistook withdrawal for weakness. The masters knew better. They said, when desire dies, power is born. Not all at once. Gradually, as desires lost authority, attention returned. And attention is the rarest resource. Attention reclaimed from desire does not scatter. It sharpens. This is when discipline moved beyond stillness and into structure. Students were given strict daily patterns, not flexible routines, non-negotiable rhythms. Wake, move, train, study, rest. No variation, no personalization. The goal was not efficiency. It was obedience. Not obedience to a master. Obedience to structure. Structure replaced desire as the organizing force of life. This is where modern minds rebel. They equate structure with restriction. The Chinese saw it as liberation. When structure decides, the mind is free. No inner debate. No wasted energy. Desire no longer negotiated your actions. The system did. This produced something rare. Consistency without motivation. Action without emotion. Progress without excitement. And most importantly, stability under pressure. A person ruled by desire collapses when desire is threatened. A person ruled by structure remains intact. This is why Chinese warriors were calm in chaos. Why scholars endured years of obscurity. Why healers worked without praise. Their internal order did not depend on pleasure. Desire had been dethroned, not killed, integrated. The disciplined individual still experienced desire, but desire no longer commanded behavior. It whispered. Structure answered. This is the cage, not a prison of suffering, a containment of power. A river without banks floods and destroys. With banks, it generates force. Desire was the river. Structure was the bank. By the end of Chapter 2, the student no longer asked, "What do I feel like doing?" That question had lost relevance. Instead, a colder, stronger question emerged. What must be done? This question does not beg for comfort. It does not consult fear. It moves forward regardless. And once desire is contained, discipline stops feeling heavy. It becomes automatic, because nothing inside is arguing anymore. In the next chapter, this structure will harden, not into rigidity, but into command, the ability to direct oneself under pressure, fatigue, and fear, without collapse, because stillness revealed illusion, containment weakened desire. And what comes next is the formation of inner authority. Chapter 3, Inner Command. Structure without command is fragile. It works when conditions are calm. It collapses when pressure enters. Ancient Chinese discipline did not stop at routines. It moved toward something harsher. Authority. Not authority over others. Authority over the self. Most people live in a state of internal democracy. Thoughts argue. Emotions vote. Desires lobby. Nothing decisive ever happens. The Chinese system abolished this chaos. There would be one voice, one command, one direction, and it would not negotiate. This was not achieved through aggression. Aggression is still reaction. Inner command was cultivated through exposure to controlled stress. Students were deliberately placed under pressure. Cold, hunger, fatigue, monotony, not randomly, systematically. The purpose was simple. Reveal who is in control when comfort disappears. Most people believe they are disciplined until conditions turn hostile. Then excuses emerge. Justifications. Delays disguised as wisdom. The Chinese masters saw this as self-betrayal. If your discipline collapses under pressure, it was never discipline. It was convenience. So pressure became the teacher. Students trained when tired, moved when sore, studied when bored, not heroically, silently. No encouragement was given. Encouragement weakens authority. When someone relies on external reinforcement, they do not obey themselves. The masters removed praise, removed punishment, removed emotional feedback. Only completion mattered. This produced something uncomfortable. Actions detached from feeling. You did not act because you felt ready. You acted because it was time. This is inner command. A simple, absolute internal signal. Now. No debate followed. At first, the mind resisted violently. It created stories, rationalizations, false urgencies. This isn't necessary. This can wait. This is unhealthy. The masters ignored all of it. They understood that the mind panics when it loses control. The ego thrives on negotiation. Remove negotiation and it starves. As repetition continued, something shifted. The moment a command arose, the body moved. Not forcefully, not angrily, precisely. This is the difference between discipline and domination. Domination creates tension. Command creates alignment. The Chinese system never shouted internally. It spoke once, and the body obeyed. This level of internal authority changed everything. Fear lost leverage. Fatigue lost excuses. Mood lost relevance. A person with inner command does not ask, "How do I feel about this?" They ask, "Is this required?" And if the answer is yes, they move. This is why ancient Chinese leaders appeared calm in crisis. Their nervous systems were trained to obey command, not emotion. Under threat, most people speed up. They rush. They scatter. Inner command slowed everything down. Breath remained steady. Vision remained clear. Movement remained minimal. The system trained this relentlessly. Breathing exercises under exertion. Decision-making under exhaustion. Silence under insult. The student learned that pressure does not demand reaction. It demands clarity. And clarity emerges only when command is internalized. There was a rule. Never issue a command you cannot enforce. This applied inwardly. Students were taught to give themselves small, undeniable commands. Stand, sit, hold, release. Each command was executed fully. No half effort. No delay. This rebuilt trust with the self. Most people do not trust themselves. They break promises internally every day. The Chinese system restored this trust through obedience. Once trust was rebuilt, commands could grow larger, train longer, study deeper, wait longer. The body learned something crucial. Resistance is temporary. Command is permanent. At this stage, discipline stopped feeling heavy. It felt cold, efficient, silent. No excitement, no suffering, just execution. This frightened outsiders. They mistook it for emotional emptiness. It was not emptiness. It was stability. A stable mind does not fluctuate wildly. It conserves energy. It directs force only when necessary. This is unshakable inner power. Not explosive, not dramatic, reliable. By the end of Chapter 3, the student no longer needed motivation. Motivation is unreliable. They no longer needed discipline techniques. Techniques fail under stress. They possessed something more severe, an internal hierarchy. Command at the top, emotion below, desire beneath that. Everything in its place. And when everything is in its place, nothing is wasted. In the next chapter, this command will be refined further, not into rigidity, but into precision. Because command without precision becomes brutality. And the Chinese system did not create brutes. It created instruments. Chapter 4, Precision over Force. Force wastes energy. This was a core belief of the Chinese discipline system. Anyone can apply force. Very few can apply precision. Force comes from emotion. Precision comes from control. This is why the system, after establishing inner command, began stripping away excess movement, excess thought, excess effort. The masters observed something brutal. Most people fail not because they are weak, but because they are inefficient. They overreact. They overcommit. They overspend energy in the wrong direction. Force feels powerful in the moment, but it leaves damage behind. Precision leaves nothing. The disciplined student was trained to reduce movement until only necessity remained. Every motion was examined. Why step here? Why strike now? Why speak at all? Nothing was assumed. Everything was tested. This produced an uncomfortable realization. Most actions people take are unnecessary. They exist to relieve anxiety, not to accomplish objectives. The Chinese system eliminated this. Training sessions became slower, shorter, sharper. One movement repeated. Not with intensity, with exactness. If the angle was wrong, the movement stopped. If the breath was off, the sequence reset. No rushing. Rushing revealed impatience. Impatience revealed fear. Fear of being inadequate. Fear of being surpassed. Fear of time. Precision required indifference to time. Students learned to move as if time did not exist. This crushed modern instincts. People equate speed with effectiveness. The Chinese understood that speed without accuracy multiplies error. So accuracy was mastered first. Only then was speed allowed. This principle extended beyond physical training. Speech was refined. Students were taught to speak less, not to appear wise, to preserve clarity. Words leak power when used carelessly. A single sentence spoken at the right moment outweighs 1,000 spoken from insecurity. Silence became strategic, not passive, intentional. The disciplined individual did not rush to explain, justify, or convince. Precision in speech created authority without effort. Then, attention was sharpened. Attention is power. Scattered attention creates weak outcomes. Focused attention compresses force. The Chinese system trained focus through single-task discipline. One task, one objective. No multitasking. Multitasking was considered mental fragmentation. Fragmentation weakens command. Students were punished not for failure, but for divided attention. Because divided attention means divided loyalty. Loyalty must be singular. This training rewired perception. Instead of seeing many options, The mind saw the essential. Instead of reacting to everything, it responded only to what mattered. This made the student dangerous in a quiet way. Not aggressive, unavoidable. Force meets resistance. Precision bypasses it. A precise action encounters no opposition because it leaves no opening. This is why Chinese strategists favored indirect approaches, not confrontation, positioning. They placed themselves where force was unnecessary. The same applied internally. Instead of forcing discipline, they structured environments. Sleep was protected, distraction removed, inputs controlled. They understood something modern systems ignore. Willpower is not infinite. Precision conserves it. A precise life requires less effort than a chaotic one. This is why the disciplined individual appeared calm. They were not pushing constantly. They were aligning continuously. Even suffering was refined. Pain was not avoided, but it was not dramatized. The student learned to separate sensation from interpretation. Pain existed. Suffering was optional. This allowed endurance without self-pity. Self-pity wastes energy. Precision demands neutrality. The more neutral the mind, the more accurate the action. At this stage, the student stopped identifying as someone trying. Trying implies uncertainty. They were simply executing. One correct action at a time. Nothing heroic. Nothing emotional. Just correct. This terrified observers. Because precision cannot be intimidated. You cannot provoke it. You cannot exhaust it emotionally. It does not care. This is why precision was considered superior to strength. Strength can be challenged. Precision cannot. By the end of Chapter 4, the student had been stripped of excess. They moved less, spoke less, reacted less, but every movement carried more weight. Every word landed. Every decision held. They had become efficient. And efficiency is silent dominance. In the next chapter, this precision will be turned inward once more. Not to control action, but to control identity. Because as long as identity is unstable, even precision can fracture. And the Chinese system did not tolerate fracture. Chapter 5. The Death of Identity. Identity is the last weakness. The Chinese discipline system understood this clearly. As long as a person clings to an idea of who they are, they remain predictable. Predictability is vulnerability. Identity creates preference. Preference creates attachment. Attachment creates fear. Fear is leverage. So the system moved towards something radical. The dissolution of identity. Not metaphorically, practically. The student was taught to stop describing themselves. No labels. No roles. No narratives. Not I am disciplined. Not I am strong. Not even I am a learner. Those were decorations. Identity was seen as accumulated memory, not truth. A story repeated until believed. The masters asked a simple question. If identity were real, why does it change under pressure? Fear reveals the truth. When pressure rises, identity fractures. The confident become insecure. The calm become reactive. The disciplined make exceptions. So identity was removed as a foundation. This frightened most students. Without identity, they felt exposed, empty, invisible. The masters did not intervene. They knew emptiness was required. When identity dissolves, behavior becomes observable. No longer defended. No longer justified. Just actions. And actions do not lie. The system stripped language first. Students were discouraged from speaking about themselves. No stories of past hardship. No future ambitions. No self-analysis. Speech creates reinforcement. Silence dissolves. Without constant narration, the sense of me weakened. Then comparison was removed. No rankings. No competition. Comparison feeds identity. I am better. I am worse. Both are chains. The Chinese system did not care who you were, only what you did, consistently, under pressure, over time. This created a terrifying clarity. Without identity to protect, failure became information. Success became irrelevant. Nothing was taken personally. This is why the system worked. Personalization weakens discipline. When failure is personal, ego intervenes. When success is personal, complacency follows. The system removed both. Then came anonymity. Students wore identical clothing, ate the same food, followed the same schedule. No expression, no distinction. This was not cruelty. It was calibration. When external identity disappears, internal alignment is tested. Some resisted. They wanted recognition, validation, individuality. The masters allowed them to leave. Those who remained began to experience something unfamiliar: relief. Without identity to maintain, there was no performance, no image to defend, only execution. This produced an unbreakable calm. Insults lost power. Praise lost influence. Neither altered behavior. This was considered mastery. The student no longer needed to feel strong. Strength functioned regardless. Identity is heavy. It drags the past into the present. It projects the future into now. Without identity, the present became clean. Action occurred without hesitation. This is why Chinese discipline appeared cold to outsiders. There was no emotional narrative, no heroic self-concept, just adherence to reality. Reality does not care who you think you are. It responds only to what you do. At this stage, the student ceased thinking in terms of self-improvement. Improvement implies a self to improve. There was only refinement of process. One action corrected at a time. No celebration, no disappointment, only accuracy. This is the death most people fear. Not physical death, psychological death, the death of being someone. The Chinese embraced it, because only when identity dies does adaptability become total. A person without identity can enter any role, endure any condition, release any attachment. They are not flexible. They are empty, and emptiness adapts instantly. This is why Chinese operatives, monks, and strategists could disappear into environments. They did not impose themselves. They aligned. Identity imposes. Emptiness integrates. By the end of Chapter 5, the student was no longer asking, "Who am I becoming?" That question had lost meaning. Instead, the only question that remained was, "What is required now?" No resistance followed, because there was no self left to resist. In the next chapter, this emptiness will be filled again, not with ego, not with desire, but with principle, unchanging internal laws that guide action when identity is gone. Because identity can be destroyed, principle cannot. Chapter 6, The Law Within. When identity is gone, something must replace it. Without a governing structure, emptiness becomes chaos. The Chinese discipline system anticipated this. It did not destroy identity to create freedom. It destroyed identity to install law. Not law imposed from outside. Law embedded internally. An unchanging set of principles that governed action regardless of circumstance. Emotion could not overrule it. Fatigue could not negotiate with it. Fear could not bend it. This was the final internal authority. The law within. Most people live by moods. Some live by habits. Very few live by law. Law is absolute. It does not adapt to comfort. It does not care about justification. It does not require belief. It simply executes. The Chinese system reduced law to fundamentals. Not many rules, only essential ones. Complex systems fracture under stress. Simple laws endure. The student was taught to live by a small number of internal commands. Act when action is required. Remain still when stillness is superior. Speak only when words improve outcome. Endure discomfort without complaint. Correct errors immediately. No exceptions. Exceptions were considered corrosion. Each exception weakened the law. Once weakened, law becomes suggestion. Suggestion becomes preference. Preference becomes desire. The system allowed none of this. The law was enforced internally with precision. Violation did not produce guilt. Guilt is emotional waste. Violation produced correction. Immediate, silent, complete. This trained something rare. Self-governance. A person governed from within cannot be controlled from without. External pressure failed. Threats lost influence. Rewards lost leverage. The student moved according to law, not incentive. This frightened observers. They could not manipulate such a person. There was no hook. The law within was trained through relentless consistency. Small acts mattered. Posture, timing, tone of movement. The student learned that law expresses itself in details. Neglect details, and law becomes abstract. Abstract law dissolves. So discipline became microscopic. How you place your foot, how you breathe while waiting, how you respond to interruption. Nothing was too small. The Chinese understood that collapse begins in neglect. A system that tolerates small violations will collapse under large pressure. So nothing was tolerated. Not harshly, correctly. The student stopped arguing with reality. Reality does not argue back. The law within aligned behavior with reality. This alignment removed friction. Life became simpler, not easier, cleaner. Decisions were faster because deliberation was unnecessary. The law already decided. This freed mental resources. Attention sharpened. Energy stabilized. The student appeared slow. They were not. They were economical. Economy of movement. Economy of thought. Economy of emotion. This economy made endurance possible. Years passed. The student did not burn out. Burnout is the result of internal conflict. There was none. The law resolved conflict before it arose. Others mistook this for rigidity. It was not rigidity. It was clarity. A rigid structure snaps. A lawful structure holds. This is why Chinese masters endured isolation, hardship, and obscurity. They did not require affirmation. The law affirmed itself through execution. At this stage, discipline was no longer practiced. It was inhabited. The student did not think about discipline. They moved according to it automatically. The law had replaced willpower. This was the end of training, not because mastery was achieved, because training was no longer required. The law governed continuously. In the final chapter, this law will dissolve into something even more subtle. Not command, not structure, but flow without weakness, action without strain. The final state, where discipline is no longer visible. Only outcome remains. Chapter 7, The Unshakable State. At the end, nothing dramatic happens. There is no revelation, no surge of emotion, no moment of triumph. That is how you know the transformation is complete. The unshakable state does not announce itself. It removes the need for announcement. By this stage, stillness no longer feels forced. Desire no longer demands attention. Command no longer feels heavy. Precision no longer requires effort. Law no longer needs enforcement. Everything operates silently. This is the state ancient Chinese discipline was designed to produce. Not greatness, not domination, stability. A person who has reached this state does not feel powerful. They feel clear. Clarity replaces emotion. Function replaces identity. They do not wake up asking who they are or what they want. They wake up aware of what must be done, and they do it, not aggressively, not heroically, correctly. Pressure no longer changes behavior. Stress arrives. Behavior remains. Chaos enters. Movement stays precise. Loss occurs. Structure holds. This is unshakable inner power, not because nothing touches you, but because nothing moves you without permission. The outside world continues to fluctuate. Markets rise and fall. People praise and attack. Circumstances improve and collapse. The unshakable individual does not resist this. Resistance implies fragility. They allow movement without internal displacement. They are not calm because they suppress emotion. They are calm because emotion no longer governs action. This is the final separation. Emotion exists. Obedience does not follow. The nervous system has been retrained. Breath remains steady under threat. Vision remains wide under pressure. Decision remains intact under uncertainty. Others notice something unsettling. This person cannot be rushed. Urgency fails. Deadlines do not panic them. Conflict does not provoke them. Opportunity does not intoxicate them. They move at their own speed, which is always correct. This is why the unshakable state is rare. It cannot be simulated. It cannot be adopted temporarily. It cannot be maintained through motivation. It is the result of removal. Removal of illusion. Removal of excess. Removal of identity. Removal of negotiation. What remains is function, and function is durable. The ancient Chinese masters warned students at this stage. Do not mistake this state for superiority. Superiority invites comparison. Comparison resurrects identity. Identity leads back to instability. So humility was enforced. Not moral humility, structural humility, and understanding that the system does not belong to you. You belong to the system. The unshakable individual does not seek recognition. Recognition is noise. They do not explain their discipline. Explanation invites debate. They do not convert others. Conversion is ego. They simply live according to law, and the results accumulate quietly. Years pass. Others burn out, change direction, collapse under weight. The unshakable individual continues, not because they are stronger, but because they leak nothing. No wasted emotion, no wasted attention, no wasted movement. This is why they endure. This is why they become reliable. And reliability over time becomes influence. Not loud influence, structural influence. Others begin to orient around them, not because they demand it, but because stability attracts dependence. This is how leaders formed in ancient China, not through charisma, through gravity. The unshakable state creates gravity. People trust what does not fluctuate. The system now completes itself. Discipline dissolves into nature. There is no effort. There is no resistance. Only correct response. The person no longer feels disciplined. They simply cannot behave otherwise. And this is the final truth. Discipline was never about control. It was about removal of alternatives. Once alternatives are gone, action becomes inevitable. The Chinese did not ask, "How do I stay disciplined?" They asked, "How do I make indiscipline impossible?" This is what you have learned. Stillness removed illusion. Containment weakened desire. Command established authority. Precision eliminated waste. Identity dissolved. Law replaced will. And now, nothing remains that can shake you. If you choose to walk this path, understand this. It will not make you impressive. It will not make you admired. It will not make you comfortable. It will make you stable. And in a world built on volatility, stability is absolute power. There is nothing more to add, only to begin.